Hi, my name is Neil Bolger at A2 Efficiency, and in this update, we're going to talk about the changes to Title 24, 2025 for multifamily dwelling units, balanced or supply ventilation systems. It's a must have. So, with the changes to 2025, right now, systems in multifamily dwelling are required to have balanced or supply ventilation and requires air testing for buildings. So this new section to the code basically no longer allows you to do exhaust only ventilation systems. You must have some level of fresh air blowing in, which you can then filter that air with, right? So this whole dwelling unit mechanical ventilation section, here it is in the code, basically saying that these dwelling units shall have one of these sections below, either A or B, goes into what is required. It also then goes into the requirement for compartmentalization testing. So you not only have to do balanced or supply ventilation, you also have to do compartmentalization testing, which was in the old code, but you'll remember it was sort of a either or, do one or do the other. What does this mean, right? So what available configurations are there when we think about supply only or balance? So you might have now a central balanced ventilation system, a rooftop supplying air, makeup air unit, an exhaust fan balancing each room. We've seen other configurations supply only in unit ventilation, where smaller buildings, right, have a supply air in and then exhaust air actually just leaks out or goes out the small bathroom exhaust fans. You could have a large central balance system. So here I'm showing it with an ERV or HRV, but one unit on the roof, ducting air, recovering energy of the ventilation. Or you could even have in-unit units, right? They now make these in-unit balanced ventilation systems. This is just a cartoon. You would probably intake and exhaust a little further apart. But diagrammatically, right, each unit is its own device. And there's a lot of really neat units that are coming on the market. Obviously, we have big units like this large ERV that's serving a very large non-res building as an example in a picture. But this is just a diagram of how you might use a smaller in-unit device to pull air out of key rooms, right? They're pulling air out of these bathrooms, and then they're supplying air into the bedrooms. Other fun devices, I just thought I'd take this chance to kind of show some other interesting ones. I have not necessarily personally used these, but I'm really excited to see them on the market. These are small one unit ventilators, and they also use that airstream with a heat pump. So they're not only providing fresh air, they're also trying to make that air hot or cold and do a little bit of heating or cooling, which is a really exciting device, right? Because in theory, you could now match your envelope, really high performance envelope, where that device is the only amount of cooling or heating that apartment might need. And they make these small ones that here are shown kind of tucked on the ceiling. They make larger ones that are kind of stand up, and you can then even uh, pull in air on one side, and you can see this duct going down and exhausting air farther away to kind of get those distant requirements. But looks like a very tall suitcase of sorts. But exciting development, I'll say, in technologies that may now come to the California market now that we're seeing these changes to the standard.